Okay, this is the KH965i getting started programming overload. Okay, so this is how to check and correct your pattern. If you repeatedly push the step key, the program is displayed step by step in the order in which you entered it. In this way, you can check and correct your program. Clover. If there is no program programmed into the computer, you cannot proceed to the next stage even if you push the step key. Make sure that all the variation keys are set correctly and the ready lamp is lit. Push the selector key 1 or 2 as required. Push the step key, pattern number is lit. Push the step key, the display shows memorized pattern number. When using selector 2, the MIMO display shows the motif number. You will check now. When selector 1, nothing appears in the MIMO display. How to enter the correct number. When using selector 1, go to step 5. Okay, so that's way up there. When you correct the pattern number or enter the same number again, then the pattern framing data will be reset to its original computer settings. First needle position will automatically be placed over the center of the needle bed. When using selector 2, first needle position will remain unchanged. When you correct the pattern number in your pattern book, or enter the same pattern number in your pattern book again, then the MIMO information will be reset to its original form. Ooh, that sounds bad. Push the step key, display shows the pattern framing data for 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. in that order. Note, the display shows the pattern framing data 3 and 4 for motifs 2 to 9. Okay. Now, back to selector 1 where it said to go to step 5. Push the step key. The display shows the first needle position of the pattern. How to correct. Push the yellow or green key and enter the correct number. When using selector 2, go to step 7. When using selector 1, go to step 7. When using selector 2, go to step 6. Okay. So for selector 2, push the step key, the display shows the motif width data 1 and 2 in order. How to correct, push the yellow or green key and enter the correct number. Repeat steps 3 to 6 for motifs 2 to 9. In case you want to add a motif to your program, you have only one motif or motif 1 in your program. Enter the program number and follow the step from 4. So back to here. Now, if you were using selector 1, then push the step key and the ready lamp is lit and the pattern program check is complete. Oh, that's a lot of gobbledygook. Well, now we're going to discuss the start key. Okay, well, new video. Okay, start key, which is where? Stitch, row, save. Let's make, start key is that one. Okay. Use this key to start knitting from the first row of the pattern or midway through a pattern. When you push the start key, even if the display indicates any other row number of the pattern, it'll change to the first row. So it's like a restart. Needle selection will also be according to the first row of your pattern. How to get back to the first row. When you want to begin a new piece of knitting and you're using the same pattern number, example, if you are making different parts of a garment, the display will show the number of the row you are going to knit next in pattern. To get back to the first row of your pattern, push the start key and the number in the display will revert back to 1. When you use the upside down key, the last or top row of the pattern will appear in the display. You must always select the needles first before you start pattern knitting. Okay. When the number in the display is flashing on and off, it means the needle selection is already been done. Return the display to a steady number 1 by pushing the start key. Okay. The flashing will cease and the needles will be selected according to row 1 of the pattern. So it would be flashing, ready, start, and then it says ready, and then solid. Okay. How to begin knitting midway through a pattern. Program the pattern. The ready lamp is lit. Enter the row number which you want to start knitting and push the start key. You can also use the up and down key to set the start row. Keep pushing up and down key until the row number you want to start knitting appears in the display window. When working in lace or fine lace pattern, take care of the following point. Please refer to the diagram. You can begin knitting from one row above the ones with the MIMO number, example those marked with 2. So they have little dots here that you can see. Please refer to page 40. Excuse me. Okay, sorry about that. Please refer to page 43 if you're using the double length key or flexion key or McRib key. So many more things to remember. Oh, the MIMO program. Okay, need a new video for this one too. Alright, MIMO program. You can program MIMO information for pattern knitting, and this will be shown in the MIMO display while you knit. You can easily enter and delete and modify the MIMO information. Push this key when you start and finish the MIMO program. Use keys 1 through 9 and the yellow and green and CE keys to enter this information. Indication in the MIMO display using the keys. When you enter the MIMO information using the keys 1 through 9, example, when you enter the MIMO information using the yellow or green keys for lace patterns, so up and down. When you enter MIMO information using the CE key, it's blank. MIMO information for the patterns in the Stitch World pattern books that you have modified or deleted will revert back to the original form when you enter the same pattern number again. MIMO information for your original patterns will remain until you modify or delete them. In case you enter the MIMO information for multicolor slip stitch or skip stitch, 3 colors, and multicolor rib pattern, 3 colors, programmed in input mode 2, one row will be displayed 3 times. In these patterns, the computer separates each row into 3 sections for yarns 1 through 3. So row number 2, MIMO 1, up key, 2, MIMO 2, so that's the second yarn color, up key, and then row 2 for yarn 3. Entering and correcting the MIMO information. To enter the correct MIMO information for the program pattern, program the required pattern. When the ready lamp is lit, push MIMO key and the ready lamp goes off. Pushing the up and down key, move the number on the display to the row you want to enter or correct the MIMO information. Enter or correct the MIMO information for other rows. Repeat the step 3 to 4. Push the MIMO key to finish the MIMO program. The ready lamp is lit and you have now completed the MIMO program. Okay. In case you want to delete the MIMO information on the particular row, move the number on the display to that row and push CE, so cancel information. You cannot use the CE key for multicolor slip stitch patterns, so 3 colors, and the multicolor rib patterns, 3 colors, programmed in input mode number 2. Yes, we'll get into that. Deleting the MIMO information. You can delete all the MIMO information for the program pattern. Program the pattern. When the ready lamp is lit, push the MIMO key. The ready lamp goes off. Push the CE key, so program key. All the MIMO information has been deleted. Push the Memo key, the ready lamp is lit, and the program is completed. In case of multicolor slip stitch, 3 colors, and the multicolor rib patterns, 3 colors, programmed in input mode 2, all the Memo information will come back to its original form. Oh my lord. Alright, there's more here. Memo information in the patterns in your pattern books. Please refer to the diagrams on the back pages of your pattern books. The Memo information is shown on the left side of the programs, and it also appears in the Memo display. Alright. Hang on, please. Okay, so it is just reviewing what is in Stitch World 1 when you need to, let's say, change a color. That's basically what Memo means. Let me think here. The meaning of the Memo information will be different depending on the type of stitch pattern. So when it comes to tuck and slip, this is when you have yarn 1 and yarn 2. So 1 and 2. And in this case 3. For weaving patterns, the Memo information is used to distinguish between the weaving yarns. So you have 2, 3, and 4. So weaving without weaving yarn, number 2, number 3, number 2. Those are the examples. For lace and fine lace patterns, if no number is shown in the Memo display, operate the lace carriage. When a number appears in the Memo display, knit as many rows with the K carriage as the number indicates. Hopefully we can have the lace carriage work, and you will see that happen. So in this case, we're knitting 4 with the K carriage, operate the lace carriage, knit 2 rows with the K carriage, and operate the lace carriage. For lace and fine lace patterns that are mixed, there's an upper 0, operate the lace carriage. The number 2, knit as many rows with the K carriage as the number indicates. And then the lower number, operate the lace carriage, but with the lever in F for fine. Makes sense. Now it's trying to tell us how to do an input program for your own programs. So, new, okay. Input program. Page 25. How to program your own patterns. You can enter and store your own stitch patterns in the computer by using the input program. You can use a maximum of 3 colors, including the main yarn, in one row. This facility allows you to both enter and delete patterns of your own design. Before starting to enter your own patterns, you must prepare the following. Draw a design on one of the blank design sheets, just use craft paper, which come with the machine. Draw a frame around your design and count the number of stitches and the number of rows which make up the pattern. So in the 930, you would only have 2 colors. This one, you can have 3 colors. Input key. Push the key when you start and finish the input program. P no lamp, pattern no lamp. So pattern number lamp. Computer will give each of your own patterns a number from 901 to 998. You can store a maximum of 98 patterns. The computer allocates the number 901 for your first pattern, 902 for your second, and so on automatically. In order to avoid confusion, it is recommended that you write down the pattern number on your design sheet. Input mode. When you input your original pattern, you have to enter 1 or 2 number of input mode according to the pattern you want to make. Mode 1, all the patterns except for the ones in mode 2. Mode 2, multicolor slip stitch and multicolor rib pattern, 3 colors. Number 1, mode 1 appears in the Memo display, so when you want to input the pattern number for mode 2, enter 2. Alright. Stitch key, row key. So stitch lamp and the stitch key. Push this key when you change the display from row data to stitch data. And then row lamp and row key. Push this key when you change the display from stitch data to row data. Okay. Stitch lamp and row lamp. When you input the number of stitches in rows, these lamps will be lit in order. Number of stitches pattern can be from 1 to 200 stitches. Number of rows, the maximum number of rows available to you is calculated automatically by the computer when you enter the number of stitches you want for the pattern. You don't have to use all the rows indicated as available. However, when you are checking or inputting the pattern data, either of these lamps light and indicate that the number on the display is for the stitch data or the row data. Lord. Okay. Now it is talking about this section. Pattern data input keys. You have to use the correct keys for inputting the pattern data according to the input mode. See 3 on previous page. Mode 1 or mode 2. So use data keys, white key, black key. Mode 2, use numeral keys 1, 2, and 3. You can input the pattern data on your design sheet as it is. Input the data sheet one by one from the left end stitch of the first row. Up key, push this key for inputting the next upper row. Down key, left key. You can use these keys when you find that you have inputted the wrong data. However, when you come back over stitches using these keys, all the data you come back over will be deleted. So if you do not want them deleted, do not use these keys, but correct the data with the check program. Okay, so data key, mode 1. White key needle remains in B. Black key needle selected goes to D. Numeral key, 1 through 3, mode 2. Numeral key. Okay, so I think it's talking about these ones here. Use the key for inputting the stitch knitted with yarn 1. Use this key for inputting the stitch knitted with yarn 2. Use this key for inputting the stitch knitted with yarn 3. For your quick input, when all the remaining stitches in a particular row are to be input with white key or 1 key, then you do not have to input these stitches simply. Push the up key for inputting the next row. You can enter the same stitch data by pushing the data or numeral key continuously. Okay. Data lamps. So it's talking about these ones up here. When inputting, okay, the input data will appear in the data lamps. When inputting with data keys, 5 stitches, row pattern. Contrast yarn, black key, main yarn, white key. Data lamp, off, on. Okay. When inputting with the numeral keys, 6 stitches, row pattern. So yarn 1, white, yarn 2, gray, yarn 3, it's the 3 key. So what it will do is it'll go, yarn 1 will remain white, yarn 2 will be solid, and yarn 3 will be flashing. What to do when your pattern has more than 10 stitches in a row. The data lamps indicate the pattern data from the 1st to the 10th stitch in the order you have entered them. When you enter the pattern data for the 11th stitch, all the pattern data lamps for the first 10 stitches go off, and the first data lamp now indicates the pattern data for the 11th stitch. So it'll just keep moving to the right or left. All right. Input program procedure. Storing your own pattern. Make sure the ready lamp is lit. Write down the pattern number. Select input mode 1 or 2. Input the number of stitches. If you input the wrong data, push CE key to clear. Display and enter the correct data. Input the number of rows. Input pattern data. Data numeral up key. Input. The ready lamp is lit and the input program is complete. When you enter MIMO information see page 23. If you wish to knit the inputted design immediately, you need to go through the programming procedure as on page 20. Otherwise, the machine will only remember the last pattern you knitted. Okay. And how to delete your own patterns. Enter the pattern number that you want to delete and push the C key. Make sure that the ready lamp is lit. Push the input key. The ready lamp goes off and the input lamp is lit. The lowest vacant pattern number will appear on the display. Enter the pattern number you want to delete. If you entered the wrong pattern number, push CE to clear the display and enter the correct number. Push the C key. The number in the display goes out and the computer deletes the stored pattern. If you want to delete more than one stored pattern, repeat steps 2 to 3. Push the input key after you have finished deleting stored patterns and the input lamp goes out. The ready lamp is lit and the input program is complete. The order in which the pattern numbers appear in the input program. The lowest vacant pattern number appears in the display. Number of stored patterns. Deleted patterns. Order in which the numbers appear. Note, if you delete one of your own patterns, the pattern program which contains the deleted pattern will also be deleted. In Selector 2, however, if you delete some patterns, other patterns programmed for the smaller motif number will not be deleted. If you delete your own program for motif number 5, motif number 6 and 9 will be deleted in the pattern program. However, you can knit the patterns for motifs 1 through 4 as you have programmed. So I will be deleting all of the information on this machine, just to be clear. So this is the guidelines for making your own patterns. This is page 28. I am going to read this. When designing your own stitch patterns, please bear the following in mind. Tuck stitch, stocking stitch. So for tuck stitches, the black ones knit stocking stitch and the white ones will be tucked. So you want to make sure you do that. For plated tuck stitch pattern, tuck stitch is still white. You can't have two tuck stitches together, so they can never be right next to each other. You can only pull up stitch in one row. Okay. For weaving, knitted by needle selected to D position, so 5 stitches max. On thread lace, 5 stitches max. Lace pattern and fine lace pattern transferred stitches, you can never have 2 black stitches next to each other. So they always have to be spread out. You cannot have 2 in a row either. That will also mess up your stuff. It does not like you to also have 2 rows where they are right next to each other, because it will not transfer two stitches on one needle. Multicolor rib, 2 and 3 colors. Jacquard. This type of work is achieved by using a ribbing attachment and color changing with your machine. Knit these patterns with make rib or multicolor rib key. Input the pattern data in your design sheet as is. When you design multicolor rib pattern, 2 colors per row. Check that the total number of pattern rows are even and that the yarn is changed every even row number. So when the carriage is on the left. Check program. I guess that's time for a new video. If you could not tell by my enthusiasm, I am so confused. In fact, the manual lost me about 30 minutes ago. But wait, it gets worse.